Okay, there. Councillor Cordover.
Thanks very much, Mayor. My question is just about, and you could tell me if it's not related to planning, but we've heard a little bit about housing diversity and how that was related to planning. Tasmania's Affordable Housing Action Plan 2019 to 2023 talks a lot about new supply. My question is, was there ever any mention of affordability when it came to these 400 new lots, and is that something that's covered in planning at all?
Mr Stander or Ms Tylemore?
Through you, Mayor, if planning application comes in on its own as a development, as opposed to the planning scheme amendment, no, there's no trigger in the planning scheme that considers affordability, housing diversity or type of housing.
So I guess, just to make that crystal clear, that there is, not only is there no trigger in the planning scheme about affordability, but explicitly with the Kingston Park development, there is no illusion to the requirement for any kind of affordability within the new development. That's not even on the cards.
Ms Tylemore.
Through you, Mayor, it would be up to the developer to choose if they wanted to offer that as part of their product suite, but it's not something that we could require. Not as a planning authority. The contract between council and the developer is a different matter, but not one for me to comment on.
Sure thing. My second question, if you will, please, Mayor, is about height limits, and just to step us through the changes in height limits, and I guess the thrust of this is really just to allay any concerns or fears within the community about why it is that they're changing. So could you step us through the justification for the change in height limits?
Mr Stander.
Through you, Mr Chair, I might just mention that this report is really just trying to deal with the representations, but I've also included in the report on pages 9 to 11 just a bit of background on some of the changes that the Commission made. So you'll note there's a couple of things, and including the height. So this it's kind of a little bit convoluted, some of the height issues, but you'll note that there's a provision currently in the planning scheme that is trying to look at the height of adjoining development in the central business zone. So the Commission has increased the height on that, and that's really just to look at the existing properties of Channel Highway to improve the development potential. There are also some changes in relation to the setbacks. So you'll note, and that's actually more a matter that was raised during the submissions, is setbacks and height requirements, and once again, how it would affect the development potential on adjoining land. So you'll note in the comments there is some provisions within the planning scheme where I guess a height increase could be considered through those provisions.
Thank you. And further to that, then, could you please step us through the idea about solar access and how, will there be a risk that increased height limits will limit people's solar access and issues of overshadowing and things like that? Can you just step us through the theory behind it?
Through you, Chair. In this particular instance, it's actually quite simple because the properties within a commercial zone is located to the south of development. So given that there's already a site development or master plan approved for the inner residential zone, we've already established that there would be no impact to the properties to the south. Obviously, if the developer would come back with a new design, we will have to reconsider those potential impacts, and Council will have the opportunity to ask for additional info as part of that development application process.